This is the Tokyo Butter 23 sneaker channel. Welcome to Tokyo, Japan. I bring you daily sneaker information about upcoming reviews and sneaker news. If you like your sneaker news and your sneaker reviews real fast and real short, this is the channel for you. I try to keep it under 10 minutes, even under 5 if I can. And today, the fast review I'm going to bring you today has 8 different sneakers in it. It's time to review the Nike Epic React Flyknit 2. As I said in the introduction, I'm reviewing the Nike Epic React Flyknit 2 today. That sneaker is dropping over the end of January and the start of February in 8 different colorways, at least 8 different colorways. Last year it was one of the biggest sneakers of the year, the Epic React Flyknit 1s, and it looks like the Flyknit 2s have not departed very much from that design and that colorway. So it'll be interesting to see the little changes that they've made to try and update this very popular sneaker. As I said in the introduction, I drop sneaker reviews daily, and if you want to stay in touch with that and keep up to date with the daily reviews and the daily sneaker news, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell down below. For example, tomorrow I will be upping my game from 8 sneakers to 11 when I showcase the Chinese New Year drops that are coming from Nike. There are 11 in total that I found, but I've got a feeling there might be a 12th one out there to go with the 12 years of the Chinese calendar. But I haven't found that 12th one yet. Check it tomorrow to see my review of the 11 that I know about so far. So looking at this Epic React Flyknit 2, the Epic React Flyknit range to me has a lot of similarities with the Adidas Ultra Boost, especially the Adidas Ultra Boost 3.0 and 4.0 range. Not so much the Adidas Ultra Boost 2019 range. And the places where I see the similarities are in the upper, where you've got the Prime Knit on the Adidas Ultra Boost and you've got the Fly Knit on the Epic React. And that's one area where I see a sort of commonality between the two. Another area is with that midsole. It's very soft and it's designed to be soft and durable, cushiony for sports, especially for running. So that's another area. The midsoles are very similar in their sort of soft cushioniness, and that to me is another similarity between the Epic Reacts and the Ultra Boosts. But a departure where they're not similar, and it's a favour for the Ultra Boost, is that the Ultra Boosts have a lot of crossover to lifestyle, and you see people sporting Ultra Boosts in casual situations and casual settings where you don't really see the Epic Reacts in sort of casual situations, parties or social gatherings. So the lifestyle element goes to the Ultra Boost, I'm afraid. Now looking at the Epic React Flyknits, I'm going to start with the biggest change from the previous iteration from last year, the 2018 version, and the biggest change appears to be in the heel counter. Last year's 2018 version had a solid heel counter that went all the way around the heel to offer support across the length of the heel. However, this year's one appears to come into 2 sort of triangles with a space in the middle where the Achilles tendon would be, offering a bit of flexibility while maintaining that heel support. So you've got Achilles tendon flexibility in the middle and heel support on the left and right sides. There's also a slight update and change in the Flyknit to make it a little bit less rigid. Not to say that it's rigid, it definitely is not rigid. It's not as rigid as leather, for example. It's a little bit less rigid than it was last year, but that means it offers a little bit more all-foot support, and it still does have that phenomenal breathability that you get with these knit materials, the Prime Knit and Adidas, the Flyknit and Nike. The breathability, the lightness and the flexibility really offers that runner's edge to sports people out there. So if you're looking for a running shoe, either the Flyknits or anything from Adidas, the Prime Knit and Ultra Boost range would do you good. And this year's iteration, the Epic React Flyknit 2, does have a slight change in its Flyknit, but it's not too much to detract from the sneaker. It's not really a noticeable change, to be honest. A place where there isn't really much change at all is in that React outsole and midsole. It really still has the same feel, the same durability. Sometimes it's not so durable in the outsole element where it wears a little bit, but it does have that same cushioning effect. It does still feel as good on foot. And the only changes that you can really see in it are actually cosmetic, which are very evident towards the heel. Now, if we have a look at the heel, you can see from about the midfoot towards the heel, you've got some spray. Now, especially on the top half of that midfoot, midsole, you can see the spray going all the way back to the heel. But then if you gradually go down towards the outsole, it fades away and it gradiates away and out of sight. So you've got that sort of spray paint effect, which is purely cosmetic as an addition to the 2019 version of this sneaker. One change I'm glad they did not make, and something I don't like to see in my sneakers, it was an addition that Nike played with a couple of times in 2017 and also 18. I hope they do not continue playing with it, is what I call the shark fin midsole, and you can see a picture here. I don't think this has any purpose being on sneakers. I think some guy one day was like, oh, sneaker heels, they've always been curved and round. Let's do something unique and innovative, and made it into this point. And I don't think it has any purpose being on a sneaker. Neither does my daughter, by the sounds of things. And I would prefer it if Nike didn't do that at all. So I'm glad to see that the Epic React Flyknit 2s don't have that change to their midsole and outsole design. And speaking of design, I'm going to grab my iPad and read to you the 8 colorways that are releasing so far. Now I need my iPad to read them because some of them are just out of this world nuts colorways, and it's I don't know, they sound more like cocktails, or soft drink cocktails with chucked in some blueberries and strawberries and milk or something, and it's a ridiculous names to put on sneakers, and I can't memorize them, so I'm going to read them to you. But one thing I did notice when I was looking at these colorways is some are for men, some are for women, and some are for both, and I don't like that. If I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. I think brands should bring out men and women's sneakers only, and if women want to buy sneakers that are men colorways, and if men want to buy sneakers that are women colorways, knock yourself out. Instead of bringing out only in the size range that's for women or only in the size range for men, I don't think that's a particularly fair way to release sneakers. So Nike, if you're listening, I'd rather you brought out your sneaker colorways for everyone to buy in any size. But with that off my chest and out of the way, let's actually grab my iPad and have a look at these guys. So here we go. I'm going to read to you the releases and the colorways that come for this Epic React Flyknit 2 over the upcoming season, and I'm going to show you some pictures from here. So let's have a look at the first one, which is the Black Sapphire Line Blast Hyper Pink Blue, which is for men and women. The Blue Void Indigo Force Black for men. The Pure Platinum Wolf Grey White for men. The Black Gunsmoke for men, and then there's a very, very similar colorway called the Black Anthracite Gunsmoke White for men and women. I don't know why you do that. I just anyway. I'm reading and I've lost my train of thought because of that men-women thing. I really hate gender bias. It really bugs me. Anyway, let me get back to this. Here's the next one. It's for women, and it's the, I'm going to take a deep breath, Plum Dust, Ember Glow, Bleached Coral Black, Barely Grey colorway. And then the final colorway for women is the Light Silver Lime Blast colorway. Whew, what a heap of colorways that is. Just give them simple names. Black, red, that would do it. Now I think there are 2 more colorways that I didn't list there, and I meant to talk about them earlier when I talked about that connection between Ultra Boost and the Epic Reacts. And there's one called the Pixel that's coming out, and I'll pop the Pixel up here. That's a connection to the Ultra Boost because the Ultra Boost 2019 released a version called the Pixel earlier in January, and it's interesting to see both brands bringing out that Pixel. And then another colorway, I think if I remember right, it's not written down, so I think if I remember right, it's called the 8-bit, and I'll see if I can get a version of that up here as well. So that's the colorways that are dropping for the Epic React Flyknit 2, the latest iteration of that sneaker. They look all good to me. They're all very clean looking shoes, and they look good for running. And I think a lot of people are going to sport them as much as they sported them last year in the 2018 iteration. The changes that aren't really big, there doesn't seem to be much change to the design and structure of the sneaker, which makes you kind of wonder why they're actually bringing it out. Why not just keep going with the very successful sneaker from last year? But they're bringing out a new version. A lot of people will buy it, and I'm sure a lot of people will run in it and get a lot of sport miles out of it. Thank you for checking in with me today in this collection selection that I gave you, and this review of a whole brand, a whole grouping of sneakers from Nike. And lo and behold, I'm going to do the same tomorrow. Ridiculous as it may seem, tomorrow I'm looking at 11 sneakers for the Nike Chinese New Year. Like I said at the top of this video, I don't know if there's a 12th one out there that I haven't seen yet, but there are 11 sneakers coming your way tomorrow. So make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can catch my Chinese New Year selection video tomorrow. It's sure to be epic. All right, it's time for me to say farewell. I will check off and see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for checking in today, guys. I really appreciate your being here and viewing my content. Over here, we have the channel subscribe button. Channel登録ぜひお願いします. Over here, we have the video I recommend you watch next. こちらはおすすめです. And up here, we have a link to the channel introduction video. こちらはチャンネルのプロフィールのvideoです. Check them out. Clicking on them really helps the channel.